Imagine you lived in New York City. Well, maybe not New York City, because for some people that already sounds like a nightmare. But imagine you live somewhere with the same population size as New York City, but with a murder rate over 10 times higher. For the 6.5 million citizens of El Salvador, this was their daily reality in recent years. Gangs like MS-13 and 18th Street controlled the majority of the country, with around 50,000 members, who seized power through killing, violence, and fear, while the country tried to rebuild after a civil war. That was until one man stepped in to end all the government corruption, gang violence, and murders. He implemented new laws and reforms, overhauled the government, and ordered a prison large enough to house 40,000 gang members. The Center of Terrorism Confinement is, from my research, the largest and strictest prison I could find in all of the Americas and quite possibly the world. Before we focus in on the absolutely massive prison and what it's like for the inmates inside, I want to take you guys through how all of this got started and what made El Salvador's gang problem so bad, basically to the point where these gangs were running the whole country. To help me break all of this down and really understand the details, I brought in a resident expert on the subject, Melvin Gregory Thompson Jr.
Yo.
Okay, well, maybe he's not an expert, but he is my very good friend, and we put in a lot of work to put this video together so we could learn and talk about it with you guys.
Absolutely, man. I am super excited to get this going. Put in a lot of effort for this myself. And let's go ahead and get into it.
All right, let's jump right into it. Okay.
Yeah, I'm super excited to get into this, guys.
Guys,
Let's go ahead and knock this out.
I'm so excited to get into this with my best friend.
The story of one of the worst massacres in the modern history of Latin America began in December 1981.
The Salvadoran Civil War had its roots in long-standing socio-economic disparities, political repression, and social injustice in El Salvador. Decades of authoritarian rule, land inequality, and limited access to resources fueled widespread discontent among marginalized sectors of society.
Farmers and urban workers formed the Farabundo Martí National Liberation Front. This coalition of guerrilla groups fought to overthrow the dictatorship and build a socialist society that met the needs of laborers.
It was in the midst of the Cold War. The United States was supporting the government of El Salvador's fight against communist-backed rebels, known as the FMLN.
Very simply, guerrillas are attempting to impose a Marxist-Leninist dictatorship on the people of El Salvador.
The United States government was going to back the Salvadoran government come what may.
Many crimes were committed on both sides of the conflict. It was one of the longest and bloodiest civil wars in Central America, and a case study in Cold War politics.
In 1992, the government and the FMLN reached a comprehensive peace agreement known as the Chapultepec Peace Accords, brokered by the United Nations. The country faced the daunting task of demobilizing combatants, implementing reforms, and fostering reconciliation among the deeply divided society.
Yeah, okay. I don't want it to be a history video, but just doing research to make this video went down a really deep rabbit hole.
Yeah. You had told me a little bit about that. America was out there getting involved.
Yeah.
Doing what we do, being a little greasy.
So the FMLN, that was the leftist kind of communist-backed guerrilla group, and they said, we're going to do whatever it takes to put down these rebels, these commie rebels. And basically what that turned into was kind of like Vietnam, where the resistance was not well defined.
The general population?
Yeah. The combatants weren't well defined from the general population, right? It could be a farmer who was a Viet Cong. It was kind of like that same thing. So pretty much, they resort to just fucking mowing down, a whole neighborhood. And at the time, right, the American government is telling everyone that we're not involved. They didn't admit that until I think the early 90s or so.
But from what you're saying, I didn't do that much research. I am the local expert, though. But at the same time, it sounds like we're just trying to prop up that government to keep that, keep the commie stuff at bay. But the general population were fighting for the communist, or the FNLN, whatever the fuck. Is that what you're saying? You got to define that a little bit more for me.
Oh my God, guys!
I'm confused.
Our resident expert did zero research, but that's okay. Yes, the American government was propping up the El Salvadoran government, so they did not fall to a communism.
Communist regime.
Yes.
Yeah, a communist regime.
Precisely.
Yeah, I'm following that. So, but exactly what you're saying. So, like, there was a lot of civilians. Obviously, it's like it's a civil war. Obviously, so it's people versus the government, or and vice versa on each side, who's ever supporting whatever side you want to. But so what you're saying is we had a hand in the play with the government itself, who with military or whatever they were using to combat these militia groups. They were just mowing down, just anybody in a specific area.
Yeah, so I think that was kind of the reason Americans would have been upset at the time. Like, hey, these El Salvadorian farmers and the general population has kind of banded together and said, listen, we're not getting treated right. We don't have equality in wealth distribution and land distribution. So we're going to band together, overthrow this government so we can change our country for the better. And the American government was like, sounds nice and all,
fuck that,
but we're not going to have a communist country down there in South America. We're not going to stand for that. Yeah. So we're going to discreetly go in there. Yeah, we're going to discreetly go in there, give them a bunch of weapons and support, whatever they need to put this rebellion down. Yeah,
super slime ball shit. Let me come in on the back end. I'm coming through the back door for the finesse, but I have plausible deniability. I ain't had nothing to do with that. I don't know who they was. You feel me? I like that. Real slime ball shit.
That's America shit, bro. That's what
we
do.
Reagan?
This was the Reagan administration. Yeah.
Hey, man, listen, I don't know nothing about the El Salvadorian Civil War, but I'm learning right now.
Okay.
I'm figuring it out at the same time the audience is figuring this out. So
our resident expert is learning alongside you guys from a guy who also doesn't really know anything about this topic.
Hey, I know about some of the stuff in the latter portion of this. I can get into, but I don't know nothing about no Civil War. Them.
Mel's our resident expert on gang violence. Not because he's black, just because he did that part of the video research.
Or because I'm black.
All right, let's go to the next section.
What also needs to be understood, says veteran Salvadoran journalist Ivan Manzano, is it was the U.S. government's support for El Salvador's government during the country's civil war back in the 1980s that ultimately helped create the gang problem in El Salvador in the first place, with no jobs or way to support themselves and their families, joining street gangs to survive, locked in a gang war ever since.
32 años de ser periodista, tengo 54 años de vida y nunca he conocido la paz en El Salvador.
There are an estimated 60,000 gang members in El Salvador, but as many as 500,000 people depend on the gangs for their livelihoods. In a nation of 6.3 million, as many as 1 in 12 people have ties to the gangs. Marisol Vitrucha, or MS-13, and Barrio 18, or 18th Street. They've been fighting a brutal battle for territory for decades. But now they are also fighting a new enemy, as the police and military have been ordered to crush them. The murder rate is the highest it's been since El Salvador's brutal civil war in the 1980s, in which 75,000 people were killed.
For the population here, smaller than New York City, but they had 10 times more murders here in 2018, with 3,500 homicides.
Nearly 700 murders in June and over 900 in August.
In El Salvador these days, there's one murder an hour for a pretty small country, only 6 million people. It doesn't take long when you're, going out at night to stumble upon a scene like this with a body laying dead in the streets. And that's pretty much what people here are living with, these just constant shootings and murders.
Right now, El Salvador is on track to be the nation with the highest homicide rate in the world. It is because of what the Supreme Court calls organized violence against the state, including killings by gangs of bus drivers which forced the shutdown of the country's transport system, that it has given them a new name, terrorist, a name not typically used to describe street gangs.
Then, one weekend changed everything.
El sábado se convirtió en el día más violento de la historia de El Salvador.
Y en marzo del año pasado, tuvimos algo que nunca habíamos vivido.
Between March 24th and 27th, 2022, 87 people were murdered in El Salvador, allegedly by gangs.
Querían demostrarle al presidente Nayib Bukele que ellos tenían el control.
By 2019, international media sources estimated El Salvador to have about 60,000 gang members.
Start us off, man.
I don't. First of all, gangly ass hand. That shit was crazy. How are you shooting a weapon with a gangly hand? He probably you know what I mean? Anyway, no, that's kind of wild. So it looks like after the Civil War was over with, there was like a vacuum of power left in El Salvador. And, so it's like if there's no structure already in place, which there wasn't, especially after the Civil War, it was rarely structured in place.
Yeah.
Especially, it looked like it was from 79 to 92, which is incredible. It's a pretty long time. Yeah. Anyway, it's wild. That's wild. So, I mean, that's an entire, generation almost in a sense. Population that's just been involved in nothing but a civil war, come back to a power vacuum, and start the goddamn, you know what I'm saying, it's volleyball shit. And that's that. I mean, what other way? Like, you're a young man, no skills, something's already established. You come back to it. I mean, it's either get a job, work for peanuts in an economy in a country that's
just crumbled.
Obviously, a third world country. Yeah, it's crumbled. And it was really a breeding ground for him. And I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people that fucking turn a blind eye to that shit and just let it happen. So I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that.
So that's
in a sense of why I can see exactly how it happened. I mean, it was just a cauldron for that to happen. I mean, it was just a breeding ground exactly for that to happen.
It said about half the population left and ended up mostly in America. That's 3 million El Salvadorians. And a lot of them ended up, right, like we saw in California. So 3 million people now coming into the U.S., a lot of them end up in the same place, right? You don't speak English, you've never been here. Of course, you got to band together, right? So 18th Street and MS-13 form, and then the Clinton administration, Democrat, by the way, I'm just saying, Democrat crack down on illegal immigration. But, they already formed these gangs. They get deported back to El Salvador. There's absolutely nothing in place. Like you said, the economy was crippled, right? Government was in shambles, almost non-existent. Of course, dude, you're just gonna start taking shit and be like, this is mine. I'm
having my way.
Yeah.
Stop me.
Yeah.
Stop me if you can. But you're not a fan to, I'm going to have my way again. And you got to think, I mean, a country so small of like 6 million people at its peak right now, where it's at currently, but like you're saying, even with 6 million back then and 3 million left, I mean, half your population leaves. I mean, you have nobody. You don't have very much. And you don't know how much of that's working class people like, actually can work, not children, elderly people. I mean, like what type of like regular stuff is being like who's running the fucking water plants? Like,
your workforce is gone.
Fixing power lines. Yeah, who's fixing the power lines? Like, who's doing the base necessities that in the background of like an active country, first world country, is just being done without like you blinking an eye. Like, it's kind of insane. So like to come back to that and like there is none of that. Like, people aren't hiring. There's no jobs.
Oh no.
Like, you know what I'm saying? There's nobody's working. Like, what do we don't even have an economy to fucking sneeze at. So yeah, I'm coming in. I'm selling good dope. You know what I mean? And I'm doing with what that crowd does, because I'm gonna get this paper, and you're not gonna do nothing about it. I'm pretty sure like the leniency or like the even focus upon when the street gangs came back in, they generated so much money that they were able to they stimulated the economy. Like their drug trade, the money made from drugs and all of the illegal activities probably stimulated the economy.
Oh,
more
for
than
sure.
The economy
Yeah.
itself. You understand what I'm saying? Like consumerism there itself.
Right.
So now I'm paying off the police. We don't talk to polices and fucking political fucking people in political positions there as well. So like now I'm just having my way.
They had formed these gangs. They got deported back to El Salvador. So they've already seen, right, what's going on in America. Some of them go back, right? Then they have the roots of drug trade, drug trafficking. When you got that much money, oh, for sure you're gonna run the country. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it makes sense why they kind of were able to seize control. But that's a long ass time, like you said, fucking mid 70s to early 90s, dude. That's a good while.
A long time for a civil war. Yeah, the American Civil War was a little bit over 4 years. 4 years and a month. 37 months.
So 4 years.
Yeah, that country
change.
Tripled. 13 years of civil war is insane.
Yeah, that'll tear a country apart, man. Let's see what's up next, and let's try to expound upon.
As El Salvador became the most dangerous country in the world by far, that was also the year Nayib Bukele became the country's prominent political figure, securing his election as the mayor of San Salvador, the country's capital. 2 years later, Bukele only got his name placed on the presidential ballot after complicated political maneuvering. He was nevertheless successful and elected with 53% of the vote.
Institutions were created to serve the people and not the other way around. Somewhere along the way, those people forgot their fundamental purpose, which is more important than the institution itself.
Most citizens in El Salvador love Bukele, with his approval rating reaching as high as 92%, and the envy of almost every other Latin American leader who are now starting to emulate his policies.
Como pueden ver ustedes todos, los que estamos aquí reunidos son parte del Ejecutivo, del órgano ejecutivo, que es del cual yo estoy encargado, a excepción de una persona. Es el fiscal general que está aquí, él no es del Ejecutivo. Y está acá por una razón bien sencilla. Y es porque le quiero pedir en público de que investiguemos a todos los que están acá. Para atrás y para adelante. Yo me imagino que pues no hay ningún problema, ¿no?
Since coming to power, his tactics have led to the arrest of a higher percentage of its population than any country in the world, 75,000 people and counting.
Ya no somos los maras o las maras o los grupos delincuenciales o el país de los muertos, sino que ahora somos El Salvador.
But for some, that miracle comes with a steep cost. Civil liberties.
Hay una captura masiva de pandilleros y presuntos pandilleros y hay luego un intercambio, digamos, de esas capturas a partir de la entrega de las libertades.
The future of El Salvador and Latin America is at a tipping point. Does freedom have to be the price to pay for safety?
Hay una persona que me dijo una vez, mire, ¿y tú no le temes a la muerte? Yo le dije, no, pues claro, nadie se quiere morir. Yo no me quiero morir, pero yo sé que me voy a morir algún día, como todos. Si hay algo que no se puede escapar es de la muerte. Todos los que estamos aquí en 100 años, pues, no va a haber nadie vivo. Nadie. Pero hay algo que yo sí le tengo miedo, y es a dejar un mal legado.
The police was created to bring law and order. Let them seek law and order then. They should be encouraged to fulfill their foundational roles without fear of repercussions that distract them from their missions.
Plan Bukele was a 30-day state of emergency, but since then, it's been extended 22 times and counting. It suspended a wide range of constitutional rights, from freedom of association and assembly, to privacy and communications, to being informed of the reason for arrests.
Joint police and military operation, going door to door, stopping young people, searching them for gang tattoos, calling through their details to police headquarters and checking their criminal records. Quite a significant operation in Soyapango, and spoke to local residents too, many of whom are very, very pleased that while there is obviously a much greater security presence in their neighbourhoods, there's a much, much smaller, almost non-existent now, gang presence.
That was a massive convoy. First we thought it was one military truck, and then we just was like about 10 different trucks with 2, I think, that had a bunch of inmates in them. And they did not take security in transporting them lightly either. There was like at least like 100 soldiers, right, in those like 8 trucks. That's crazy.
You see those prisoners to putting in the jail, because the main jail is almost 20 minutes from here.
Oh, they're going to the main one.
Oh yeah, that's go to the big one, the new jail.
Weird being 3 deep in the backseat of a car with men.
Yeah.
One big. Why they put the big dude in the middle?
Yeah, I don't know.
Big guy.
I don't. 3 deep in the back of a car is absolutely wild.
So there, guys, we just watched where the gangs were at, and then who came in to kind of try to clean that up. As you can see, Big Balls Bukalele came in there swinging hammer around.
Nayib Bukele.
Yeah, I haven't came up with a name for him yet. But whatever the fuck it is, it's gonna be great because this dude's different. But there's a couple. Yes, yeah, he cold as hell. But he cold as hell, boy. But in all seriousness, though, like to come in and instantly get 92% approval, I just think the craziest part about this whole thing to me is just the absolute suspension of civil liberties. Like that shit is insane. Like to get like it had to be so. Obviously, we've seen this. It was so bad there that they were like, I don't give a fuck what you got going on. If you even look or smell like you're in a gang, you're going to fucking jail.
Yeah, I think when shit is that bad, you kind of have to do that. Like, listen, guys, we're gonna solve this. We're gonna put nothing in the way of our police officers and government officials that are in charge of detaining these people, questioning them, arresting them, transporting them. He said, fuck all that. If you're in any way related to a gang, you're getting arrested. I'm not going to tell you why. I'm not going to tell you you got a right to a lawyer. You're getting you're getting herded like cattle to this big ass jail. That's it. But yeah, when shit's that bad, I think you got to do it. And it seems like a lot of people were pretty happy about it. So
yeah. What's really astounding to me as well, where he touched on the part where he was like, "Yeah, everybody here is getting investigated. That's within this political sector here at this. So all the high-ranking members. And guess what? That shouldn't be a problem, should it? I don't think so. No. It's not a problem with you. Oh, okay, I didn't think so. Yeah, and he even said like, except for one person, the AG. But I'm also already knowing how cold he is. He probably already had somebody on the AG ass. Like he already knowing. What he's good or not. Yeah, he's already knowing. So like it's super cold how he came in here.
Listen, if my choices are fucking getting murdered by a street gang, or I give up the right to a fucking attorney, I know what I'm picking.
But I don't be doing that. I don't do anything. So like
exactly.
I shouldn't. It's like basically what he just said in that when he was talking to the cabinet or whatever the fuck he had going on there, whatever the fucking people he was talking to, whatever. He's saying that like it shouldn't, like you don't do nothing wrong, right? So it shouldn't be a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not an issue. It's a non-issue there. So like I know I'm a law-abiding citizen. I pay my taxes and I go to fucking work. If they said that we can just stop and frisk anybody and check to see if you're involved in any illegal activities, you can pull me over on my way to fucking work or to and fro, and I don't have a fucking. I mean, it's gonna fuck up my day.
We're not gonna have a problem.
Put me a little behind, but it's fine. You know what I'm saying? After I come 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, you're gonna know it's me. This fucking dude just goes to work every day, and he fucking comes home to his fucking family. Blah blah blah. Like, okay, that's cool. But these motherfuckers with the gang tattoos on their fucking face look like somebody fucking drew on them. Your ass is going to jail.
Yo, you're going expeditiously. You're out.
Expeditiously. Get you the hell out of here, my boy. Go ahead, pack it on in.
I like.
Yeah, you're here for the long haul.
I like when because he's real about it too. Like you said, he's talking to his cabinet, and he was like, people ask me, like, aren't you afraid to die? And he was like, yeah, man, of course, no one wants to die, but I'm doing this shit, and I'm gonna do it right, and I'm not leaving. I'm not gonna be the one to leave a bad legacy for this country. So I like how he's not
fucking leaving.
What?
I'm not fucking leaving.
Yeah. But yeah, I like how he's like real about it. He's like, yeah, I know this is dangerous. I know I could definitely fucking get assassinated doing this. But I'm fucking standing up for my country. I like that. I do like that a lot.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising that I mean, I don't even know if there has been an attempt life, but if there hasn't been, dude, he's running a fucking tip-top ship, dude. And I think people are fucking fed up. That's probably really what it is.
Yeah. When you got gangs that are in charge of the fucking country, and they're also fighting each other for territory of the country. Obviously, they're not looking at citizens like, hey, it'd be really nice if you could, pay us this month or whatever. No, dude. Like, you pay us or get your hand chopped off, So, shit, I'd be fed up, too.
String you up by your ball sack. You fucking goddamn skinny ass.
Yeah.
Skinny ass alive, throw you in the vat.
Yeah, get those cartel members.
Yeah, I'm not witnessing that.
Get them loaded up like cattle into a military transport vehicle and get them down to that prison. Come on.
Absolutely.
All right, let's get into the real nitty gritty. Let's get into the meat and potatoes inside this new Center for Terrorism Confinement. Let's get into this motherfucker.
Yeah. This is where they're housing all the people that fucking scribbled on their goddamn faces.
Yeah, exactly.
That country up, dude.
See what they're living like.
Absolutely. They're fucking not living like shit, dude.
The Salvadoran government built a new mega prison in 2022, one capable of housing up to 40,000 inmates.
La experiencia del pasado que las cárceles se adecuaban en zonas urbanas, a la par de una escuela, a la par de un mercado, a la par de otros espacios habitacionales. Este centro de confinamiento del terrorismo se ha construido en un espacio totalmente aislado. Se adquirieron 236 manzanas. De el área de construcción son 33 manzanas aproximadamente. También pues, se ha tratado de garantizar que todo el suministro de energía eléctrica, de agua potable, sea totalmente independiente.
Para no afectar
a las comunidades y a las zonas aledañas.
Ahorita nos encontramos en un área de ingreso único. Lo primero que debemos de garantizar para tener el orden, control y disciplina dentro del centro penitenciario es que no ingrese ningún objeto ilícito a este centro de confinamiento. Para eso contamos con tecnología de punta, escáneres que toman rayos X y podemos garantizar acá que todas las personas que van a ser trasladadas acá, todos esos terroristas.
Pero aquí hay incluso adentro del organismo.
Dude, you can see their lungs, you can see their fucking meat, dude.
Es para verificar internamente que no lleven ningún manuscrito, ninguna orden, así como fueron detectadas desde el inicio de su gobierno. Y de esa manera vamos a garantizar no solo con los medios tecnológicos, nos encontramos en un área donde vamos a garantizarle a la población salvadoreña que el Estado siempre va a controlar las cárceles. Y es que nos encontramos en el área de armería, con todo el equipo que está totalmente capacitado y donde tiene toda la indumentaria para su protección, para la dignificación de que él va a estar protegido antes.
Look at that dude's fucking... Look at that dude's fucking salute, bro.
That motherfucker low as hell.
Holy shit. But it low as shit, bro. Oh my gosh, bro. I've never seen like that shit. That's like probably a microcosm of his entire life and effort that he's given towards fucking life. If that's what he's fucking doing, and he's probably an older gentleman as well, 30s, 40s. If that's what you fucking got for your salute at that age, it's probably a microcosm of how you fucking operate there in life, dude.
That guy,
they shouldn't even fucking have you out there. He probably got fired for that. Like, he probably does not have that job currently.
They put his ass in the prison.
Yeah, I'd have put your ass in prison for that shit.
I can tell you 100%.
I bet you the dude. My fault. I bet you the dude with the fucking gangly arm could probably have saluted better than that. No bullshit.
Yeah, 100%. I guarantee you this is the guy out of this little squad right here that everyone be shitting on, you know? Old Ernesto can't do but about 12 sit-ups, you know? Always fucking everything up.
Big greasy ass.
De cualquier adversidad que enfrente. Claro. Este es un grupo de intervención penitenciaria antidisturbios. Tenemos todo tipo de armería, obviamente, para cualquier tipo de intervención, dependiendo cuál sea la reacción que se tenga que realizar. También hacemos reacciones preventivas, que es de que aquí van a haber fábricas en las cuales ellos van a estar trabajando a diario. Porque estos tipos no han venido a descansar y que crean que van a estar en hoteles, señor presidente. Sino que estos tipos tienen que saber que van a venir a trabajar. Ellos van a venir aquí a purgar su pena y a trabajar en base que todo ese trabajo produzca algo para la sociedad. Y así resarcir lo que es una intervención de la toma del control del módulo 3 de la zona 2 del centro de confinamiento.
¡En guardia! ¡En avanzada!
Militant as hell, man.
Yeah.
Even militant as hell.
Dieciocho, he says 18. That's one gang. MS-13, you can see written on some of the other ones. Roughly 80 inmates per cell, but it can fluctuate. It shows you just how much a part of the culture gang life was, to the point where they were so confident at one point that they would even put the markings all over their face and bodies. You've got a toilet over here for them to go to the bathroom. You've got this basin here that they use to bathe themselves. And then you can see there's a barrel of water that they can drink from.
Put your motherfucking pants up. Put your pants up.
Yeah, I don't know Spanish, but you definitely know. He told them all to pull their pants up. All at the same time start tugging up their waistbands, bro. I like that.
Aside from that, it's kept incredibly basic. 24/7 light. There's no mattresses, there's no sheets.
De la cena es frijol.
You can see beans, tortillas, and rice. Tonight's dinner for the entire population. They're offered some movement outside the cell, but that's limited to just 30 minutes a day. The other 23 and a half hours, they're kept inside and locked up.
Y son las áreas de aislamiento, las áreas de castigo, señor presidente. Puede garantizarse que dentro no va a tener ningún desplazamiento. A él, para hacer sus necesidades básicas, va a tener su baño adentro. Que esos terroristas, también para asearse, ahí tienen su pila, con su agua y todo. Pero lo único que lo va a acompañar es esta plancha de cemento en la cual va a tener que reposar a diario. Ranfleros nacionales, corredores de programa, gatilleros que se encargaban de matar al pueblo salvadoreño, van a estar evidentemente en una celda común.
¿En castigo?
En castigo, señor presidente.
Claro. I don't even know how to describe it. It feels like a cellar. It is totally dark once they close this door. Wow. The only light you get is through this hole. And they can be in here for 15 days, potentially. The director brought up that a lot of folks will raise concerns from a human rights perspective and an abuse of human rights. I asked him how he feels about that, and his response is that he's calm hearing that because he sees it day to day, the process they go through to maintain the law and to continue on with, as he sees it, proper punishment.
Señor Presidente, le doy parte que habemos 600 efectivos de la Fuerza Armada.
Señor Presidente, le doy parte que habemos 250 efectivos de la Policía Nacional Civil.
Acá, señor Presidente, la responsabilidad de nosotros, de la Fuerza Armada, va a ser cuidar el anillo exterior del centro.
Una estricta vigilancia por todos los custodios que van a estar revisando pues toda esta zona. De acá pues sería imposible que salga un reo.
Sí, no, es imposible, claro.
De acá podemos ver también el área de construcción. Se pueden visualizar también los 8 módulos.
Aquí se ven perfectamente los 4 anillos externos, fuera del módulo.
Así es.
Que está Bueno, están los de los módulos, luego está ese anillo que tiene además una pendiente perimetral al exterior.
Sí.
¿Cuál es la longitud de este muro?
La longitud del muro perimetral inicial es de 2.1 kilómetros.
All right, sorry for everyone. It was so hard to find information about the construction process. I mean, probably for good reason. They don't want, that documented, I guess. I don't know. I would think you probably don't want that. But anyways, yeah, this is definitely by far the biggest prison I've ever even heard of or saw on the internet.
That's insane.
It's kind of insane. And then also they said, right, they got their own electricity, their own water. They got police, going through the perimeter. They got military units stationed a couple miles away. Dude, this shit is on lockdown 24/7.
Absolutely. So you're stuck in there, 80 to 100 deep, light at all times. You never get to see darkness. Not even probably when you close your fucking eyes. No mattress, no pillow, no nothing, no water cup. No, I mean you're fucking scooping water out of a fucking trough. You're pissing in front of 80 other men taking a shit.
They got
I don't know how many
one
times
toilet in the corner.
Yeah, one toilet in the corner. I mean, it could fucking probably get like 30 minutes outside of the cell.
I got something on
a
that.
day, just exercise. Or just singing like worship songs, which is probably why a lot of people are really godly. But it's kind of insane. Like I scribbled on my fucking face like a retard. Probably fucking get that. But I fucking scribbled on my fucking face, and now I'm in fucking jail for the rest of my fucking life. Like I get. Obviously, they probably did crimes as well, but like just to, like you said, they were so comfortable to just do that.
Oh yeah.
That like now that's part of why you're going to jail. Like we don't know what you did. We don't know if you killed anybody, how much drugs you sold, how many people you fucking sexually assaulted or forced into prostitution. We don't know any of this stuff or extorted or whatever. But we know that you got a fucking ugly ass face tattoo, and it is gang related, and your ass is going to jail for the rest of your life.
Yeah. Yeah. First of all,
fucking around.
First of all, let me say, if I was living like that, I'd be getting into God too. Because you got 80 to 100 people. They got them stacked in. I mean, bro, they're literally living like monkeys, bro, like in a badass fucking zoo. Yeah, 80 dudes, 80 to 100 dudes sharing one fucking concrete thing full of water, a barrel of water to drink out of, and one toilet in the corner. Fuck yeah, I'd be praying to God. But he said it's constant 24/7 light, and they get 30 minutes of free movement outside of the cell per day. And after looking around at U.S. prisons and stuff like that, that is what we do. Not even the 24/7 light, but the 30 minutes outside movement. That's what we do for people in
our federal prisons.
In solitary confinement in the federal prison. So most of the time they get more time to go out into
at least an hour. I think it's an hour.
Yeah. But I mean they're getting treated like the fucking worst of the worst, which honestly, I mean, as they should be, but
right,
dude, that shit is fucking grim in there.
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk about like violation of human rights, but it's like again, like the punishment fits the crime, because it's like how many rights of humans they violate for the last 2 decades, and families and little girls they fucking cut them through in vats of acid and shit like
right.
At least they're getting 3 meals a day. You know what I'm saying? They're able to sleep, eat, shit, shower, and fucking move around a little bit, drink some water. That's about all you need.
Yeah, I don't think
violate civil rights. I mean, he's giving them a fucking roof, food, and a fucking bed.
Yeah, I don't
even
think
if it's the lowest of the low.
It's a violation of human rights. I think that's kind of like the standpoint they took was like, okay, your whole group, the whole group you're affiliated with, caused this amount of deaths over the last years. That's on all of you. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, when you have 1 month out of the year, when you have 300 to 500 murders, I would say it's a pretty good bet that all of you in there probably did that, you know.
Yeah, had a hand to play. There's definitely a wide percentage of that population in that prison, that prison population that actively probably committed murders or was right there next to somebody up in a good pole, or was just turning a blind eye to it while you were just trying to get yours. Even if you like, and I think also, I don't know if this hasn't been discussed in the video, but this is again my own independent research. I'm your local expert here.
Resident
But
expert.
they dropped the resident expert. They dropped, I think, the imprisonment age to 12, I believe.
Ooh.
So if are you related to the gang in any type of way, you can go to prison and be charged as an adult at 12, and I think they're actively trying to drop it down to 10.
Well, that's what happens when you
Now,
recruit
obviously
kids.
Yeah, but they're not going to, they're not going to be placed in that prison itself. They'd probably be in some type of program for that age group. But they're not joking. They're not playing like they're trying to eradicate. I mean, you got to fight. It's not a pretty fight. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't fight, this type of bad stuff with something like proactively good. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's bond together as people, and
it's not going
let's
to be
end the gang violence. Get gang leader on gang leader to shake hands and sing kumbaya, and let's preach in the streets. Like, no, we're gonna round up these motherfuckers, strip them of their physical, like their civil liberties, strip them of anything humanly possible, down to that they can eat, sleep, shit, drink, and move around. Let's strip them of everything and throw them in this fucking prison like dogs. Like, that's the only way to combat that. We're gonna hold hands and see kumbaya. So I mean, I'm all with Bukele on this. I think it's a beautiful thing that he's doing here.
Yeah, you're not when it comes to a problem this fucking bad, like murders, like legitimate. I mean, these are fucking civilians, just regular people getting fucking killed. You're not ending this with sunshine and rainbows. You know what I'm saying? So we can talk, human rights violations all you want here, but dude, I think it's like you said, punishment fits the crime. Can't do the time, don't do the crime. And but what is really bad are those fucking the punishment cells. That shit is rough. I mean, they're already living. They're already living in gin pop, like they're on fucking punishment in a federal American prison. But you get extra punishment here. I mean, you're going in a concrete room, dark slab. You go from pure light to pure darkness for up to 15 days, bro. I mean it's got to break anyone down, right? I would imagine.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, I would actually like to. I've thought about that a few times while watching this. Not just this, but just other things that I watched prior. I was thinking, like, I wonder what percentage of the general pop actually goes into solitary. And what I mean by that is, it's like they know that it's so fucking awful that they probably don't act the fuck up. Like, these things are not playing no games. Like, probably one crazy bat talk. Like, not, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it can be like they're probably like, how militant that they're moving in this prison.
Yeah.
I'm sure that if you were like, nah, suck my dick guard, like, your ass is going into the fucking can, dude.
Yeah.
Like, we're not joking with you. Like, everybody else looking around like, oh, hell no, man. Like, you're making an example out of your ass. And I think I would love to see, like, the percentage of people that actually go into that. Because as many times as they've shown it, I don't know if there's probably multiple ones in each one of the actual housing facilities, but anytime they've shown it, you don't see anybody around like any other ones. Like, they open up one big one and kind of like show, but like, you would think that if that was actively going on, to be people around there in there, and you never really see that. Maybe they're making it so you don't, but I would assume I would assume that it's so awful that like these gang members who have had lawlessness for they're following fucking rules, dog. Because if not, I'm going into the can.
That's a good question. Is what type of offense inside that prison gets you sent to solitary? Like,
I'm talking about bad look.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like,
going to a can.
That's what I'm saying. Is it you don't do something that you're supposed to, you back talk, or even like you gave a guard a stank eye. You gave him a little stank eye. You're going to solitary. I wonder what the threshold for solitary is in there, bro.
Did I do it though? Yeah, look at me wrong, boy. You flash that bad, look at me again, boy. I'm finna send your head to the goddamn can.
Motherfucker gave me the
On me,
crazy
nigga.
eye.
You finna lock that bitch up. Walk. We finna walk. We finna lock that bitch up. I'm finna walk right away, nigga. I'm finna go lay down. I'm gonna do something.
Bro gave me
Your
the
ass finna be
stink
stuck in
eye.
that
You done.
motherfucker. Hell around with you, boy.
Oh, you going to jail
What
now?
pilot was next? But I'm pretty sure, like, but if you get put in there with like a El Salvador, like in a unit that's been there for a fucking while, dog, like they're gonna be tip top. Like they're not gonna be playing no fucking game. They have them trained probably like dogs.
Yeah.
You know what
I
I'm
mean,
saying?
you're
Like they're
also.
ready to eat when it's time to eat. They're ready to go out when it's time to go out. There's lights out. They're ready to go to sleep. Somebody out in that prison is sleeping half decent every night. He's been in that bitch so long. He's sleeping half decent. He can't wait to wake up in the morning. He'll get his rice and beans. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna take a shit. He gets his shit fucking mapped out. And he can't wait for his exercise. He can't wait to sing hymns about God. I promise you, somebody's out there being reformed. He's never gonna come home and get out. But it's doing his fucking job. I mean, sometimes you break somebody down to that point. That's all I got to look forward to.
Yeah, you break them down so much. They really, dude. I like how they got him working out there. That dude was like, yeah, they didn't come here to stay and sleep and lay around like they're on vacation, Mr. President. They came to work. You know what I'm saying?
We came to work.
That shit was cold. Okay, so yeah, we got to see how big this fucking prison is, how bad, how terrible it is inside. We've kind of seen how they got them in there, how many of them, what they're living like. Let's see the result of all this. Let's see how things kind of are now.
And in Latin America, once known as the most dangerous country in the world, El Salvador now ranks among the safest countries in the Western Hemisphere. This turnaround is the result of President Nayib Bukele's aggressive crackdown on crime by incarcerating 2% of the adult population.
Once upon a time, a country was gripped by such violent chaos that it earned the grim title of the murder capital of the world. Streets ran with fear, gangs ruled the night, and survival was uncertain. That country is El Salvador. And now, in an almost unbelievable turn of events, the same nation has become one of the safest places in the Western Hemisphere. According to a study from last year, a staggering 88% of Salvadorians say they feel safe walking alone at night. It's a transformation that feels almost like a plot twist straight out of a movie. Streets that were once patrolled by criminal networks are now under the firm grip of law enforcement. Critics argue that the country is teetering on the edge of a police state, but the results are undeniable. El Salvador has traded fear for safety and violence for calm. The murder rate has plummeted from 18 per 100,000 people to 2.4 per 100,000 people. And the nation, which was once synonymous with danger, is now rewriting its story of security.
What were you going through in the 80s that made you feel, I gotta get out of here and go somewhere else?
It's because I don't have no future here. At the time I left, I was almost 19 years old. The political situation was so dangerous those days. So many friends I lost it. They killed them. Rodil, his name is Rodil, they killed him. Diogenes, they killed. Mario was killed. Now, next was me. I say, no way, I can't, has to be here. At that time, I just connect with Coyote.
So this is like an illegal escort that takes you from here through Mexico all the way up. I mean, I guess through Guatemala first, and then
those coyotes have a connection with another coyotes, like a chain.
How do you cross the borders? Was that dangerous?
In Tijuana, to go to the United States, we walk all night long.
Were you walked into the U.S. at night?
Yes. We crossing mountains in the dark. Everybody make a line. We touch each other, see the line, and then finally they told us, "Okay, guys, we are in America now." When they told me like that, man, my dream is said, thanks God, because all the way I go, man, I'm praying. Say, my God, please, I want to go. I don't want to go back to El Salvador.
I was born and raised in El Salvador. There was a lot of political conflict, and unfortunately my mom was part of it, which meant that she had to escape the country. I left to London for a better future. And she's like, why are you going back to El Salvador? You're crazy. What's wrong with you? And I'm like, no, I want to go back. I want to get to experience my country. I think because I was robbed from the opportunity of living in my country. I loved El Salvador. I had everything that I wanted in this country. It's been amazing. I mean, there's been so much change. Years ago, you couldn't come here and walk freely. You used to find heads on the floor, people decapitated on the street. And this was the gang's way of saying, hey, we have the power. But I mean, now you can walk the streets safely.
Started off here, man. Beautiful, beautiful country. Bukele did exactly what he said he was going to do, which is a beautiful thing. I mean, to stand on your word in this day and age, especially in this political sphere, is a beautiful, beautiful thing. Absolutely. And he actually implemented exactly what he said he was going to do. And it's an ongoing thing. I mean, this is actively happening still. Probably changes coming down the pipeline, making things better, continue to progress. But the country is a lot safer now. I think I've watched videos where people have came that are El Salvadorian. And I think the girl may have said that as well. But in places like New York City, or just in general big cities in America that they've came back and migrated back to their country. They're like, I feel safer here than I do in said city, which is insane. But I mean, I can completely understand that when I go to like certain cities, like Atlanta, for example. Like I'm like, but I got to be clutching around them, man. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause it's just awful. But Kelly did what he's supposed to do, man. We love to see it.
To go from a country where it was normal, right? It wasn't uncommon to walk through the street and find a human head fucking laying on the ground, to now, almost 90% of El Salvadorians saying, yeah, I feel comfortable walking around at night. I don't even think there's 90% of people in the city that I live in that would say that. I don't think obviously there's a ton of places in America like that, but I think a lot of, like you said, like the large metropolitan area, I guarantee you 90% of people do not feel safe walking alone at night.
Yeah, that's insane that they actually cleaned it up. And it's going on 3 years that he actually built the prison, installed the laws, and has actually been executing on that plan. And he's cleaned the country up in less than fucking 36 months. It's kind of insane.
I mean, the downtown, like from the video, it looked nice, dude. People were walking around, chilling.
I'll go out there and visit.
Dude, tourism's coming back to El Salvador, because I mean, fuck, dude, it looks it looks crazy there. It looks beautiful.
Yeah, I'm excited. We got to share that with you, learn a little bit of stuff. I feel like I'm more of an expert now than I ever have been, which is great. The shot was kind of bad. That's about all I got.
Well, there you go, guys. Our resident expert learned alongside all of us, so thank God for that. I hope this video was a little bit different, right? Everything I saw, I think that we kind of saw online was, mostly like maybe a short documentary about the inside of the prison. So hopefully this was kind of cool to shed some light on the Civil War, how the gangs kind of, stepped into power after the Civil War, just how bad the country really got. And then, of course, right, getting inside the prison, seeing how it is, seeing how many people are there, and then also, right, what the citizens are saying now.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was sick.
I'm just seeing the transition and exactly how all came to be, and how Bukele swooped in, and laid his meat out there for everybody to see.
Bukalele cold as hell, boy.
But that nigga cold as shit. Why? On me.
All right, guys.
Second maybe Trump on me.
If you like the video, please like and subscribe. It would help us out a ton. We both put a ton of work into this video. Still some more to be done. So please, if you made it this far, if you enjoyed it, throw us a like. Throw a like out for the boys, you know? Nothing crazy.
I'll fucking subscribe.
Our resident expert, El Salvadorian expert, will top you off for a like and subscribe.
That's what I'm good at. Built for it.
All right, man. I think that's a wrap.
But she bad as hell, bro.
Dude, you can't say that.
I can say that. She bad as hell.
She talking about heads on the street, bruh.
I'll get some head from him.
You said you get some head from me?
Get some head from him.